Hi guys, so Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, was interviewed recently by some journalists. Now, he also was secretly recorded saying that the UK wants to do trade deals with nations that violate human rights. This was a secret recording by the Huffington Post. Now, before we hear the recording, this issue was later brought up in the House of Commons, and it was brought up by Valarie Vaz Labour MP, and it was rejected by Jacob Rees-Mogg, the leader of the House. Jacob Rees-Mogg went on to say that it was edited in some way. But let's hear first the recording, and then we'll hear from Jacob Rees-Mogg.
So I squarely believe we ought to be trading liberally around the world. If we restrict it to countries with ECHR level standards of human rights, we're not going to do many trade deals with the growth markets of the future.
So it's a bit distorted, but he basically said that if we restrict it to countries with ECHR level standards of human rights, we're not going to do many trade deals with the growth markets of the future. So he's talking, of course, here about the European Convention on Human Rights. He wants to do trade deals with countries that don't sign up to that. So countries that don't respect human rights. Now, as I said, this was brought up in the House of Commons and by Valarie Vaz, and then responded to by Jacob Rees-Mogg. So let's hear what Jacob Rees-Mogg had to say.
And the Foreign Secretary's comments were shockingly distorted by low-quality journalism. It is a cheat that journalists sometimes use of editing a text, editing a recording, and it was done to Roger Scruton by the New Statesman, and it's now been done to the Foreign Secretary. It's a very cheap level of journalism. It's not a proper way to behave. And he was absolutely clear that there are behaviours that mean you can't trade with people. And he said that if only people had bothered not to clip the recording.
Now, he doesn't actually present any evidence to support his claim that the recording was clipped. You know, he has in the past stood up in Parliament and played the national anthem. He has played Rule Britannia in the House of Commons. So why couldn't he play the original clip if he said there was an original clip and this one that we heard from the Huffington Post was edited? What's important to remember is that in the House of Commons you can lie and there is no consequence. Boris Johnson does it all the time. So what Jacob Rees-Mogg seems to be doing here is lying, saying that the recording was clipped. He's not presenting any evidence to support that claim. And he knows that he can get away with it because there's no punishment for lying in the House of Commons. Now, this was responded to by Valarie Vaz, and she asked him to clarify.
Point of order, Valarie Vaz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising to make a point of order in relation to what the Leader of the House said earlier, and he may have inadvertently misled the House when he used words like cheat and edit the recording about something that I raised in relation to the Foreign Secretary. I've had this from the journalist in question and from the Huffington Post. We did not edit any recording passed to us and quoted it in full. Could I have your guidance on what the leader can do? If he's not prepared to repeat it outside, then he must withdraw it and apologise now. Otherwise, he's casting aspersions on the integrity of a journalist. Could I have your...
Now, spoilers, the Speaker of the House is going to do nothing here. Jacob Rees-Mogg has suggested that this recording was edited. He didn't provide any evidence. He said that the journalist in question acted as a cheat, cheating here. He didn't actually present any evidence for that either. And now he's been challenged to correct the record. And the Speaker has been... now the ball is in the Speaker's court. The Speaker's job should be to say, Jacob Rees-Mogg, are you going to apologise?
Guidance, please, Mr.
Obviously, the point's been raised, and what I would say it's not for me to judge without that, but I'm sure the leader is here, and I look to see whether he wishes to respond, and that we can clear the matter up. Leader of the House.
He wishes to respond and clear up the matter. These are liars. These are charlatans. Asking Jacob Rees-Mogg to tell the truth is like asking Boris Johnson to tell the truth. They don't care about the truth. It means nothing to them because they know they're protected in Parliament. He would not say this outside Parliament because he knows that he would be punished for telling lies. But he's able to do it in Parliament because he has parliamentary privilege. He can lie, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Mr. Speaker, the Foreign Office has made it clear and has said, I quote, "We regret that this audio has been deliberately and selectively clipped to distort the Foreign Secretary's comments."
Show us the original recording. Present the original recording. You're making claims that it was edited, that it was clipped, but you're not actually presenting the original recording.
As he made crystal clear in his full answer, the UK always stands up for and speaks out on human rights.
And we're supposed to believe that. We've seen this week how the UK government cares about human rights.
In his full answer, in an internal meeting, he highlighted example where the UK has applied Magnitsky sanctions and raised issues at the UN regardless of trade interests, and that this was a responsible, targeted and carefully calibrated approach to bilateral relations.
But this is in relation to the European Convention on Human Rights. He said in the recording that if we were to limit ourselves to countries that are within the framework of the European Convention on Human Rights, then we wouldn't be trading with all these other countries that are outside it. And he said we want to trade liberally. So of course he wants to trade with countries that violate human rights. Now, talking about how we care about human rights doesn't make any difference. We're talking about a specific case here.
I repeat, we regret that this audio has been deliberately and selectively clipped.
But you're not actually presenting any evidence to support that claim. So what Jacob Rees-Mogg is doing here, it seems to me, is lying in Parliament. And he also called the person a cheat. But he's not taking that back either. This is, once again, the Tories using their privilege in Parliament to convince the public of a lie.
If the journalist didn't clip it himself, he ought to have known it was clipped. He is either a knave or a fool.
He's either a knave or a fool. Well, I don't know what else we can do about this. They claim that it was clipped. They don't actually have any evidence to back that up. You know, we've seen evidence of how the UK. We've heard numerous recordings, interviews from Brexiteers saying that we want to suspend the European Convention on Human Rights. So why is it a stretch of the imagination that Dominic Raab, the Foreign Secretary, would be saying, yeah, I'm open to doing trade deals with countries that don't sign up to the European Convention on Human Rights? It's a sad state of affairs that, once again, that Jacob Rees-Mogg is capable of lying in Parliament, and Parliament can do sweet FA about it. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. I want to say a big thank you to all of my patrons. You ensure that this channel continues to exist. I'm eternally grateful for all of your support. If you join Patreon, you will receive instant access to our Discord server, where we have both audio and video chats. You can chat with me and other patrons, where we discuss important and non-important issues. Becoming a patron per month costs about the same as a large coffee, so why not check it out?